What's up everyone, and welcome to another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. Finally, after I don't even know how many weeks, probably over a month. I had the inability to upload videos for quite some time thanks to some issues with the internet. A lot of you guys would be aware of that by now. But after all this time, I finally have the ability to do it again. So now you can expect some more regular uploads, or certainly no gaps of that length anymore. So I figured to get back into YouTube, we're going to go ahead and do a huge marathon battle. This was, I believe, 83 turns long. So strap in, guys, it's going to be a while. So let's take a look at the teams real quick. I've got Braviary, Noivern, Florg, Starmie, Metagross, and Slowbro. Quite a few new Pokemon for what you guys are used to seeing. And then my opponent, Patrick, has Tangrowth, Florgs, Metagross, Chandelure, Blastoise, and Nidoking. Right off the bat, you notice that his team has a striking resemblance to a lot of my Pokemon, including Tang, Florgs, and Nidoking. Those are three of my staples that I used way back when I first began. So this is a really fun technical match. This was the first round of the sub-only tournament I had on my stream, and it was absolutely intense. So get ready for it, guys. So my lead on any team I carry Braviary is always going to be Braviary, simply because he's a Choice Scarf U-turner, and that can always allow me, almost always anyway, allow me an easy switch. He's even jolly, he outspeeds Electrode actually. But Nidoking's an immediate threat to my team because it simply annihilates Florgs. So I went right away trying to get a kill on Brave Bird. Unfortunately, that thing lives with like 3 health. And turn 1, I'm losing Braviary. Now that was a really dumb misplay on my part, honestly. That should not have happened, but oh well. So I bring in Starmie here, he's an easy counter. Now I actually predicted him to expect a special attack and bring in Florg, so I went for Size Shock. Unfortunately, I guess he called that one, and he switched into his own Tangrowth. Now, obviously, he's defensive, physically defensive. This isn't going to do absolutely nothing. Scald would have done actually pretty decent damage and had a chance to get that burn, but not the case. So I don't want Starmie to go away here, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out. I switch out into Bouquet. Now, this ended up being a pretty big thing across the whole match, Ramen versus Florgs, and that knockoff ended up being pretty big, because when you knock off Florgs' leftovers, it really pressures her into having to wish to heal. And I actually, at the end of this battle, I have no wishes left. So there's that. So he brings in Metagross here to wall off any attack I'm going to fire off. Maybe I'm carrying Toxic or something. And it's a good call because I went for Moonblast, which is actually like a 2-hit KO on Tangrowth. But does absolutely nothing to Metagross, obviously. So now I'm going to bring in Slowbro, who is my physical wall. Now right off the bat here, I'm already wishing I was carrying Tangrowth, because one of the biggest things Tangrowth can do is force switches and knock off on the obvious switches like this one. In this case, I could have easily went for knockoff Metagross to deal really good damage, or knock off whatever item he was going to be bringing in. But I don't have him. I have to live with just Slowbro at this point, who's a great Pokemon in his own right, and he switches into Florgs to take the Scald. Which is fair enough. I could have pressured him with the knockoff, but I get a little bit of damage with Scald, unfortunately no burn. Now that became a thing as well, trying to get burned with Scald, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So, this is a Florgs. A lot of Florgs like to carry Toxic. A Slowbro doesn't really care for Toxic. So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and switch out. I'm going to go into Metagross, predicting the actual Toxic. I'm Poison, obviously, and there it goes. It does not work, obviously. Now, unfortunately, his Wall Core is really powerful. I know that it's going to be incredibly difficult for me to break it, being Tangrowth and Florgs. They're both very good Pokemon. You need Poison. I don't have it. So I'm already in a disadvantage there. He brings in Ramen again, Tangrowth, and I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Zen Headbutt. It doesn't do really anything at all. Okay damage, maybe like a 5-hit KO if he doesn't heal at all. So I'm going to go back into Bouquet here. Now I'm pretty sure he predicted that, because he's going to go for Leech Seed. Now Leech Seed is going to be a big deal to Florgs at this point because he doesn't have his leftovers anymore. So that's just straight damage to Bouquet, as opposed to it kind of taking away my leftovers, which pressures Florgs into getting out of there as fast as possible. It makes it hard for me to even set up wishes and fire off damage. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into Starmie here, as he switches out as well into Chandler. So at that point I was kind of certain that Chandler might have been scarfed, so I'm going to switch right back out into Bouquet. I do not want to take any kind of hit. He's going to go for Shadow Ball. Now he knows I'm water, I can fire off Scald, so I don't know, that kind of shows he's scarfed. But he knows I can Wish, which isn't going to, you know, he's not going to be able to do anything with that Shadow Ball. He's just going to allow me to fire off some Moonblast. So he does switch back into his Flords as I go for the Wish. Now at this point, I'm kind of certain he's probably going to want to try to Toxic me, or perhaps Moonblast just to get some damage. I'm just going to protect for two reasons, to get the Wish obviously, and to scout whatever move he might be carrying. And he does end up going for the Toxic, which is okay, I'm not too worried about that. Now right here, Pat makes a pretty good play. I'm going to go ahead and switch out, predicting a second Toxic obviously. I'm going to go back into Metagross. But he makes a brilliant call here, and he actually double switches on me, and he brings in, I believe, his Blastoise. Yes. Who's obviously going to be a Mega Set with Mega Launcher and Dark Pulse, so ain't no way I'm trying to stay in on that. I'm going to switch right back into Bouquet. He made a brilliant play there. So I go back into Flords as he goes ahead and Megas, and he actually made another call as opposed to Dark Pulsing. He went for the Water Pulse, so yet again, he's making the right plays against me as I'm kind of forced to go on the defensive here. So even Water Pulse isn't going to do that much. Obviously Dark Pulse would hit for no damage at all. He stays in, decides to fire off another one. Now Water Pulse has, I believe, a 30% chance to confuse, and it kicks in right there, which is more nuisancey than anything else. Now that's going to be a big deal because Flords can no longer, I can't afford to leave her in to try to stall him. So I do break through confusion once. I get a solid Moonblast off. It's about a 3 or 4 hit KO, but I don't want to try to Wish because I probably end up dying. So instead, I'm going to bring in Starmie here, as he goes for another Water Pulse. Now, I don't know if he thought he could live one attack or if he didn't know I was carrying Thunderbolt, but I am a Life Orb Thunderbolt, and that's going to, I think that crit? Yes, and it killed Blastoise. I'm not sure if that crit mattered or not. It is a Life Orb Thunderbolt, so it is pure, it's a lot of power, but either way I take down Blastoise, which is a huge threat out of the way. So here, I just wanted to stay in, just maybe he wasn't Scarfed, just trying to make me think I was, so I stay in, I went for the Scald. Unfortunately, he is Scarfed, he's going to kill me with Shadow Ball. Reason 2 I stayed in is because I wasn't sure Flords could take 2 if I tried to switch in. I did not want to lose Flords already. That would have been a terrible turn of events. So I get a free switch, I get to Wish easily, knowing I can live that no problem. Even if it crits, I believe I would live that, and then I can get the Wish off and protect up. So he does switch out to Metagross, which is a fair enough switch. He knows I have to protect. There's no way I'm going to try to fire off an attack, and even if I did, Metagross would be like, oh look, damage. Yeah, right. So yet again, he's here on Metagross, and I'm going to have to switch out into Slowbro. Now this became a thing. He's going to go for Power Up Punch, which is absolutely terrifying on a Metagross. Obviously, he has got so much power already. Boosting it is unnecessary. But I do take that okay. I'm kind of worried about his attacks. I know he resists both his stats, but if he's carrying anything like Earthquake, I could be in a lot of trouble here. So what I'm attempting to do at this point is simply Scald. A 30% chance to burn. It gets the burn all the time. So, no, for one Scald, and I don't get the burn there, which is unfortunate. And now he's at +2. And uncrippled, I was really worried about what attack he might be using, and it turns out he is carrying the Earthquake, which is about the one thing on Metagross's set that can do damage to me. So I fire off another Scald, I get him around half HP, which is nice, but yet again, no burn, so Slowbro's really starting to get hella pressured here at this point. So he fires off another one. I could have tried to heal up, but he is doing about half, so it's about a waste of my time, so instead, I fire off a third Scald to try to get the burn. One last shot, again, none. It's a 33% chance, so it's about 1 in 3. I just didn't get it there. RNG not with me there, but that's okay. Obviously here, he doesn't want to risk me trying to slack off because Bullet Punch still might not kill me. So he just fires off another Earthquake, and I know that's coming, so I switch. Now he's going to switch out of Metagross here, predicting a Flamethrower. Now I actually forgot about Chandelure here, and I went for the Flamethrower, which could have been a big deal if that Chandelure was Flash Fire, but he doesn't do that just in case maybe I went for Air Slash or something weird, predicting the switch. He switches into Florence, who can wall all my attacks pretty easily, obviously. So Moonblast is a one-hit KO in most situations against Noivern, unless it rolls really low, I think. So I'm going to go back into Metagross. Now we're both doing the same thing here. We both have Florence and we both have Metagross. So Metagross walls Florence all day, no matter what moveset it's carrying. It walls the energy balls that I carry, the Moonblast, the Toxic. Mine's actually Assault Vested, so you're going to do absolutely nothing to it. So yet again, he's got to switch out into Tangrowth again. Like I said, this is a marathon battle, you guys. We're 30 turns in on 83 at this point. I'll have for Earthquake, hoping maybe he predict Bullet Punch and switch into Chandelure or Nidoking. That was the only thing I could do at that point. I wouldn't hit Ramen for much damage anyway, and it hits the rest of his team for super effective damage if he switches out. So I bring back in Bouquet. He was going for the knockoff. Maybe I stay in there. He gets the item, gets a good damage, but I'm not going to let that happen. There's no reason for me to. So go back into Florix. I'm going to go for a Wish as he goes for the Leech Seed. And like I said, this becomes a big part of the battle, me switching in to Florix as he switches into Ramen and the Leech Seed and the Wishes. And it's a very big part of the battle, the Wall Core battle here. But he makes an actually really nice call here. I'm going to fire off a Moonblast. It does a really solid half, but he didn't switch there, which is a little different. But he's got the Giga Drain and the Leech Seed and the Regenerator, so he knows that even if he takes one, he can get a little bit of damage off with Giga Drain as opposed to switching, and then get the Leech Seed damage recovery, the Giga Drain obviously, then the Regenerator on the switch, and get all his HP back. So turn up play there. He doesn't want to stay in again there. Could be really risky. So he brings in Chandelure. I actually thought that was a little bit of an odd switch considering how much I wall him. But he's got the Leech Seed, and that's actually going to pressure me really hardcore. I actually cannot stay in because otherwise I'm going to get absolutely garbaged. Through Leech Seed, like I said, missing leftovers really pressures Florix there. So that became a big deal. So I'm going to switch it to drop base. I was hoping maybe he'd go for Flamethrower. There was no reason to. Shadow Ball hits everything else on my team for neutral damage at this point since I don't have Braviary, so he does go for the Shadow Ball, so now I'm able to switch back into Florix. I know as long as he doesn't get a Haxie special defense drop that I can probably take 2 okay. And I can. Now he switches out. I mean, he could have tried for a, obviously I'm going to Wish. So he could have tried for like a Haxie crit or something. It wouldn't have done much, but if it wouldn't have killed me, it wouldn't have affected him very much. But he does switch into Florix, and I go ahead and do go for that Wish, and now I'm going to protect. And I'm going to get most of my HP back, so yet again, Florix is looking okay. I found the best way to probably take out a Florix ends up being trying to force it to switch out when it's not really at max HP, when it's kind of dwindling, so it's no longer able to switch into powerful special attacks, such as like a Choice Specs Noivern Boom Burst, or a Boom Burst from Exploud, or Charizard Heat Wave, or whatever else the case may be. So he's going to go back into Metagross here. Again, this was a misplay on my part after the Wish. I forgot Metagross had very little HP left. I was expecting Nidoking there. Now that was a crit. If I would have crit with Moonblast, it got more power obviously, I might have been able to take him out. But like I said, I completely forgot Metagross was at low HP, and I was just expecting Nidoking because I was so scared of that. So I'm going to go into Slowbro again here as he goes ahead and goes for Power Punch, so we're getting right back to the same thing we were last time, except I'm at low HP. He's going to try to set up some Power Punch for the boost and then fire off some Earthquake. So yet again, he goes for a second one here. Now he's at +2, just like he was before. As I'm going to go ahead and go for the Slack Off. There's no reason for me not to. I need my HP back here. It's going to allow me to, even at +2, wall off a couple Earthquakes. And I've already hit him with 3 Scalds. I'm praying here. I'm praying that I can take him down with some burn damage here if I get it on Scald. So He actually goes for another power-up punch, putting him at a devastating +3. I'm now absolutely terrified of him. He also crit. Why not? Didn't do anything anyway. As I go for Scald, 4th time, no burn again. At this point, I'm getting desperate. I need it. Otherwise, I'm pretty swept here because he's going to carry Bullet Punch. There's not much I can do. So he gets 1 Earthquake off. Now at +3, that's going to do a massive chunk of damage. I can't take another one. This is my last shot to get a burn on this thing. And the RNG comes through and gives me the burn. I wouldn't even call that hacks. 30% chance I hit him 5 times. I hit forward with it once as well. So I deserved that burn, really, in my opinion anyway. So I know at this point he's gonna even at +3, he's not gonna do much, but I have an idea here. He's gonna go for Earthquake. I know it, he has to. So I switch into Noivern. He takes a little bit of burn damage there, and then I'm going to switch right back out into Slowbro. That's for that regenerator boost, as I know he's going to fire off a Bullet Punch, trying to outspeed me and get the kill perhaps at +3. Bullet Punch is going to do absolutely nothing to Slowbro, and that's going to be Metagross down to the burn damage. So at that point, that was one of 2 big counters to Florgs. My Florgs out of the way, the other counter being his own Florgs. So at this point now, we have entered a 4-on-4, and this is where a lot of the marathon kicks in here. We're about halfway through though. So he brings in Tang. I don't want to stay in and take a knockoff to the face. I kind of need my leftovers at this point, and I don't want to take Leech Seed damage and any of that stuff. So I switch out into Bouquet again, so yet again we're back at the same situation. He's going to Leech Seed my Florgs, and I'm going to be pressured to Wish and Protect to keep my HP at maximum, and that's a really good thing for Tang. It means I can't afford to fire off any Moonblast at him. So he's going to go back into his own Florgs, as I do go for the Wish to get to try to get a little bit of my HP back here. Now, I wasn't sure what he was going to do at this point. I didn't know if he wanted to Toxic or what, as the Leech Seed damage comes up here. So, well, what I ended up doing is actually switching out into Metagross, I believe, yes, for 2 reasons. One, he gets a little bit of his HP back. He's got no recovery, obviously, because he's Assault Vest, so it gets what little HP he's lost back, and it keeps the Leech Seed damage from racking up on Florgs instead. So, now he's going to withdraw. I believe at this point he withdraws into Tangrowth. Yep. And, again, I'm just trying to do anything. I'm Bullet Punching. I'm hoping to lure. Maybe he stays in for some reason and I kill it with Bullet Punch. It's actually a crit, does nothing, and then the Wish is going to heal all the way back up, which is good for that. Getting easier switch-ins if you can't get one hit. So again, back to the same exact thing. I don't know how many times this happened in this battle. I switch back into Florgs against this Tang. This time he ends up going for knockoff, which is good for me because it's not going to do anything, and I'm already missing my item. I was missing it like turn 3 there. So I'm going to go for another Wish as he goes for another Leech Seed. And now at this point I know I can protect off even with the Leech Seed damage. He's going to be basically forced to switch or do nothing to me. No, actually I switched out. Huh, well, oh yeah, that's right. I switched into Noivern. My bad. I switched into Noivern because I wasn't sure what he was going to do, and I knew I could Wish past the Wish, obviously, and that ended up being a big deal to me later in the matchup. So I bring back in his Florgs there, and I'm gonna go for the Boom Burst. He could have switched into Chandelure there. Again, maybe I was gonna go for Air Slash to get super effective damage on Ramen. He doesn't want to risk it and lose a Scarfer, so like I did. So at this point, I'm gonna switch because I don't want to take the Moonblast to the face. I'm gonna go back into Metagross here to take whatever awful attack he's going to carry. And he doesn't go for Moonblast. He's not making predictions like he was before. Because obviously, I had to switch it to Metagross at that point or get annihilated. So Moonblast, even on a crit, does very, very little to me. But yet again, he's very easily allowed to switch out into Tang here to take whatever attack. But instead, he switches into Chandelure, which I found a little interesting. I should have went for Earthquake. I should have went for Earthquake, really, because it would have hit everything else on his team for super damage except for Ramen, and Ramen wouldn't take damage from anything anyway, so I might as well. But instead I switched into Slowbro. Now at this point, this frustrated me. I made the call here. I was like, I have to risk it and stay in. He goes for Dark Pulse. I could have scalded him, but that 20% chance kicks in. I get the flinch, which frustrates me a great deal. That would have been really big, but unfortunately, you know, nothing. So I'm going to have to switch out to get Regenerator. That actually ends up helping me in the long run, because now, you know, if he would have went for Shadow Ball, I would have been really super in trouble here. But instead, I can bring in Florgs, who's going to take absolutely nothing. He even ends up getting a flinch on this Dark Pulse, and able to fire off another one. So, you know, 20% chance, why not? 2 in a row. But at this point, he doesn't do it, thankfully. I get the wish. If I had leftovers, I'd be healing up all of his damage with leftovers, more or less, so he'd be forced to switch, but, you know. So I get that wish off. Obviously, at this point, I can't afford to try to wish pass into anything. I could try to wish pass into something, I guess. But no need. I'm just going to go for the Protect. It's not going to work because the Florg's coming in and get most of my HP back there, get back to around half. So we're wearing it down, guys. We're wearing it down. So he's actually going to withdraw his own Florgs, and he's going to switch into Chandelure again, as I believe I switched as well into Metagross. Now again, here I had to make a play, but like I said earlier, I am Assault Vested on this guy, so he goes for Shadow Ball. I'm just going to stay in and take it. The Assault Vest kicks in, I don't die, and Earthquake is obviously going to annihilate Chandelure. Chandelure could have been down a lot earlier if I'd made the right plays or not gotten the flinch, but I did finally get it down, which is, he was doing a lot of work, so now it's 3 on 4. He's going to bring back Entang. Obviously, you know what happens here. Actually, I bring in Wyvern, why not? And he's going to go for Giga Drain. I guess maybe thinking I was going to go into Forge trying to pressure me a little bit, but not going to work. And he's going to be forced to switch. Now, at this point, there's no Chandelure. I can fire off Boomburst freely, but unfortunately Florgs is still at well enough HP to be able to easily handle Boomburst here, so take him down to a little under or a little over half or so, and he's gonna get leftovers, take him back to about 33 for 67% health or so. So switching out again, back into Metagross here. This whole match just ended up being the same stuff over and over. He uses Wish. And this is what I actually, again, I made a pretty horrible misplay here. I don't know what I was thinking looking back. I guess after this long in the battle, I was just a little frustrated or not thinking clearly. There was no reason for me to not Bullet Punch. There really wasn't. But for whatever reason here, he goes into Nidoking, and for whatever reason, I decided to switch out. Even if he protected, I mean, give it a shot, seriously. I bring in Florgs, and he gets that Wish Pass, getting him back up to really good health again, which makes Braviary's death kind of pointless. But I made calls here. I knew Sludge Wave was coming, so I bring in Metagross. Metagross at 31 health, completely immune to it. Good. Now I'm going to switch out again because I know he's not. I know he's a Life Orb set. I know Earth Power is coming, so I double switch there into Noivern and take no damage again, and then I'm able to fire off the Boomburst and take out Nidoking. So the Wish Pass didn't end up being a huge deal because he still didn't do anything, but still I could have played better than that. So he's going to bring in Florgs again. At this point I just went for Boomburst, maybe a Super Hacks crit. I knew he was going to go for an attack, and then I could bring in somebody else to finish him off, but no such case obviously, and Noivern is going to go down. I didn't have to sack Noivern there. I probably would have been okay to switch into Metagross at least. But he's at low HP. I didn't want to play like that right this minute. So back into Bouquet here. He's going to go ahead and straight fire off a Moonblast, as I know that's going to do absolutely nothing to me. It lost my special attack. That means nothing. I'm not attacking him. And I go for Wish. I don't attack Florgs with Florgs anymore. I tried to once, and it just doesn't work out. It does absolutely nothing. It's completely pointless. The Wish Pass, or they just wish all day. So this might have been the biggest play I made all game. Remember, I'm Assault Vested. Moonblast isn't going to do a whole lot to Metagross. I switched there with the Wish. He fires off another Moonblast. I think he knew I was going to try that, and it just doesn't matter. He can't do enough. I'm gonna get most of my HP, well, not most, but half of my HP back there. Putting Metagross right back at solid HP after Chandelure, you know, Shadow Balled me to the face. So he's down to just his wall core here. He's only got Tang and Florgs left. We got but 10 turns away. So I went for Bullet Punch that time. Why not? You know, does absolutely nothing, obviously. So now I have to switch out one more time into Florgs here. And this is going to be, I believe, the last time you see Florgs on my side, because I think at this point he kills me because I didn't expect something. He gets the Leech Seed off there as I switch in. Now, again, I believe I wished right here, and I think it was actually my last wish. I was the last one I had. I think I wanted to sack Florgs and get another wish pass into Metagross. But he goes for Giga Drain, it takes me down to 15, and then at that point, Leech Seed is able to take me down. So, you know, he made a good call there and took down Florg. So now it's down to 2-on-2. I bring in Slowbro, and this I think ended up being, well, this ended up being the game here. I actually outsped. That was the biggest deal that there could have been, because his Tang, I believe, is relaxed, just like mine is. So it loses a little bit of speed, so it can hit hard with knockoff and Giga Drain. But I'm at +1, so that Giga Drain doesn't quite do enough to kill me. I actually get a Wish Pass. I forgot about that at the time. That was pretty awesome, actually. It ended up being a huge portion because it allowed me to not have to slack off like I wanted, like I was going to. You know, because I died as I wished. So that was actually a big deal. I'm able to get up a second boost on here as he goes for the knockoff and takes me down to a back around half, and I lose my leftovers on Slowbro as well. So at this point, he doesn't really want to stay in. I believe I went for another another Calm Mind as he went into Florgs, putting me at +3. Now, you guys have seen the Slowbro before. If you've watched my videos, I have a Slowbro sweep uploaded. He's carrying both Scald and Psyshock, meaning he can break both physical and special walls with either attack. So he's forced to go for Toxic. Moonblast is not going to do anything. That's the only thing he can do at this point, because Slowbro's actually going to annihilate even Ramen or Tangrowth with Scald. But he gets the Toxic off, but that's all he's going to be able to do. Now I finally, 78 turns in, guys. 78 turns in, I've killed one of his 2 walls. I've broken that wall core finally. So he's down, it's down to a 2-on-1 at this point, but Tang's at max HP. He goes for Leech Seed, gets the miss. That's a big deal, obviously. Now, when I use my Tangrowth, I miss on Leech Seed like once a battle. It's really obnoxious, actually, being that it's 90% accurate, but he gets the miss there, so a little bit of RNG hacks in my favor. I'm going to go for a Scald, and this is how weak he is, especially defensive without an Assault Vest. It just, he doesn't have the ability to tank. I am at +3, yeah, but it's a not very effective attack from, you know, Slowbro, who's not invested in special attack even a little bit. I think he's got 4 special attack on him. And it's half HP, so he gets the Leech Seed off, which is going to allow him to tank another one, obviously, at this point. So at that point, he goes for Giga Drain. He's going to heal up a lot of his HP. I believe right there he actually outsped me, if I'm not mistaken. Meaning, maybe we're in speed tie. I don't know. And either way, I'm going to take him down to basically dead health here. He's got basically nothing left. He gets a little bit of health back from Leech Seed, and Toxic now obviously has worn down on me enough to take me down. Meaning, it's a 1-on-1, but Slowbro played absolutely amazing there. He was a big deal. I absolutely needed him in the end to take out that Florgs and cripple Tangrowth. So I bring in Metagross here. At this point, I know I don't do a lot, but I do enough. I don't think he can wall me out, but why not? I get a crit and a flinch on that turn in one shot, and then Bullet Punch, obviously able to remove Tang from play there. And after 83 turns, this battle, guys, is finally over. So that was an absolutely amazing battle. It was a lot of fun. A lot of switches there. It was very, very intense. I thought on quite a few occasions in my head, I was like, man, I can't believe I lost in round 1. but I pulled it through somehow. Got a little help from the RNG with burning Metagross, Leech Seed missing Slowbro and that kind of stuff. And I get a as close can get 1-0 victory. So thanks everyone for taking the time out of your day to watch my battle. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys leave a like if you enjoyed the content. Remember guys, if you guys have not checked out my stream, you should give it a shot. www.twitch.tv/xChrisCobain. There will be a link in the description below. And that's it for me guys. I will see you guys in the next video.